Welcome to another episode of The Offering. And we are on the roller coaster. Up and down we go. Sabres coming off of a 4-3 loss to the New York Islanders at home. Second straight loss, and they are back at it tomorrow night on the road against the Detroit Red Wings. Desperate, I don't want to say desperate, big need of 2 points to get themselves corrected. They dug themselves out, getting points in 5 of those 6 games, heading into the Panthers game. This can't turn into a 3 or 4 game losing streak or points in one of your last 5 games. It can't. And I talked about this last time that this is the stretch to prove to people it's not the same. That it's not going to be win a few, then lose a few, win a few, then lose a few. There has to be consistency established here. There's still time. There's still opportunity. The schedule is still light here over the next 2 weeks, relatively light. But this is also a team where no win should be taken for granted or should be considered in the bag by any means, especially in a sport where anything can happen and bad teams beat good teams all the time in the NHL. But here we are. 4-6-1 through 11 games. Not where you want to be. But there are a few things that I felt are important to discuss and dive into. As I said, we're at 11 games. This is the point now where it starts to become, I don't want to say like 100% like what is happening, but it starts to get a little more concrete. And then around the 20 game mark is where I really say like establishes it is who you are. We're seeing early season trends start to become reality or looking more like reality. And I think where I really want to start things is this team offensively. If you remember early in the season in Prague, I called out some concerns of a system or a plan to shoot the puck more from the point, or shoot from low percentage areas in the hope for a rebound or a deflection, and that as a plan to score goals. When they came back from Europe, that went away for a few games. But it's back again. We're back to a situation, night in and night out almost, where they are not generating a lot of quality at 5-on-5. And the biggest indictment of it is we're looking at a team here that in natural statistics data, shot attempts per 60 minutes at 5-on-5, score and venue adjusted. Shot attempts for the Sabres are 10th in the league. They are top 10. So they're getting a lot of shot attempts against. Expected goals for per 60 at 5-on-5. They are 26th in the league at 2.25. So there should be alarm bells going off all over the place. What that tells you is this is a team that shoots the puck from low percentage areas and does not get to quality areas. They are spamming shots at the net in hope of rebounds, in hope of deflections, point shots, but it is not of quality. Now, what is saving them to this point, thankfully, is they are finishing at a higher rate. So their goals per 60 at 5-on-5, they're 13th in the league. It's dipping, by the way. They were, I think, 6th, then dropped to 10th, and now we're down to 13th. So it's coming back down. So that means that finishing rate is starting to come down at 5-on-5 now. You're getting some more power play goals, and that's kind of making up for it there. But it's an alarming sign. And the weird thing is like it's not the calling card of a Lindy Ruff team. I think that's maybe for me what is the most confusing part about this, because that's not what his teams do. Lindy Ruff's teams generate quality offense. That was one of the reasons I was so much in favor of making this move to bring him in because his team's always, the majority of the time, maybe in the New Jersey year where they were bad his first year, not the case, but the majority of the time, his team, they generate quality offense. And that's just not happening here. And it's gotta get corrected because you still have a team that is not that good in the power play. If your offense at 5-on-5 isn't to slowly start to trickle back to earth or into the bottom of the standings, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You're going to need either be an extremely high end finishing team that makes up for that, or you gotta change something here. And I think this gets into it. It all flows together here. This gets into the problem with their forward group. Jason Zucker has been good. He's been good at 5-on-5. He's been good in the power play. That's been a good addition. They needed another one. Talked about this all summer. I brought it up last week. It's now becoming more evident as we go along every single game. And it is now even more maximized by the fact that you're not getting a lot of the Jack Quinn and Dylan Cousins. They split the two up tonight. Maybe a little bit better, maybe not. I still didn't love some things saw from Quinn. Cousins got on the board finally with a goal. But still, like there's just a lot of stuff that I don't like there. Cousins went back to the wing. He ended the game back at center. It's still not clean. It's not good. But that only emphasizes the need for something else. There is only one line on this team that is generating quality offense, and that's Tage Thompson's line. If you look at Evolving Hockey, this doesn't include tonight's game, which, by the way, I'll tell you, the only line that generated quality offense was Tage Thompson's line. So tomorrow, if I pull these same numbers, it's going to look even worse. But if you look at the forward lines that have played at least 10 minutes together this season, 3 of the top 4 lines have Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch on there. The top line in expected goals per 60 in Evolving Hockey models at 5-on-5. 13 minutes together was Alex Tuch, Jordan Greenway, and Tage Thompson. I mean, that was only one game, I think it was. Your second one, which they had to split up, that was going well, was Zucker, Greenway, and McLeod. They're your second highest. And then your third highest is Tuch, Thompson, Benson. Your fourth highest is Tuch, Peterka, Thompson. So really, Tage's line is the only one that is creating quality offense. Cousins, Quinn, Benson, 1.89. Cousins, Quinn, Kulik, 1.85. Malenstein, Krebs, Lafferty, 1.51. Zucker, McLeod, Benson. This one is probably a limited minute. It's only 10 minutes. 0.47. You're not getting enough from anywhere else, and that's because you don't have a secondary scoring line. I mean, your secondary scoring line is your Ryan McLeod line, which that's not really what you want him to be. I mean, yeah, you want him to have secondary scoring, but that was below the top 2 lines, though. That's what the expectation was going into the season. And Zach Benson coming back is not going to fix that. I think Zach Benson is a good player. I think he helps in terms of retrievals. I think he helps in terms of playmaking ability, this passing, getting the puck to the middle of the ice. But he is not, at this point, at 19 years old, a production player that can drive high-end offense. I think he can get there. I think he can be an offensive driving winger as he ages up here, but not now. And I get it. We saw the reports of Adams trying to do things, and he's making calls, and Active and Friedman. But you're at game 11, and this is a problem. The worst part is this is a predictable problem. This is a problem that in the middle of July we said was going to be a problem if it didn't get addressed. And here we are. You're not going to be able to have Thompson's line carry you the entire season. It's not feasible. It's not going to work. And like I said, other lines are scoring right now. That's good, I guess. But even like your highest goals per 60 line are those same 4 lines I mentioned. The rest of them, forget it. You're not getting much out of it. And it's unfortunate. You had to break up the Greenway, Zucker, McLeod, and that was working. And that's because, your Quinn and Cousins worked. But 2 nights in a row here. Against Florida, Nicholas Obey-Kubel was my second line winger. And tonight, as good as he played, as good as he has played this season, and don't get me wrong, Greenway has been really good. Jordan Greenway is my second line winger. This is Don Granado stuff, which we said in the offseason we don't want to see anymore. And in Game 11, we're seeing Greenway up on the second line, my second line winger. There is a deficiency. There is a hole at that spot that if it is not fixed, I don't see how this team can dig themselves out and be in the mix for a playoff team moving forward. It is a major problem that the general manager needs to address quickly. I don't think you have the horse in-house to remedy that. The problem is, while there were trades, who's going to trade that top six forward right now? I don't know. And that might be the most difficult part, but was why I hammered the table in the offseason that you couldn't go into the season with a plan of, well, if we start good or poorly or whatever, we'll just make a move early. And then it's difficult. While teams have done it, the last week, there was 2 trades, at least 2, maybe 3. It's still difficult to get that player off a roster right now because the standings are still so close. Nobody truly believes that they are out of this thing besides maybe San Jose. But again, what does the Sharks really have to offer you if you wanted to do that? Nothing crazy. So I don't know. I have growing concerns about the offense as you move forward here. The other thing that I wanted to get into is the defense pairs. So, this is another thing that talked about in the offseason is it's hard for me to say that bringing back Yoki was a major problem because he really hasn't been that bad this season. But the issue with bringing him back is, and I wrote about it in the summer and talked about it before the season started, is if your other pairs struggle, you're going to be put in a difficult spot. Because really, Yoki Haru, by the numbers, in every single year the last 3 years, the only time he's really found success is playing with Dahlin. Anytime he is away from Dahlin, it goes terribly. So, if Power and Byram aren't working, which it seems like it's probably not, and that was expected because you have 2 similar players that struggle at similar things, and there's only one puck, and both players probably should have the puck on their stick more. If you want to make a change there, now it's difficult. You can put Byram down with Clifton and bump Samuelson up with Owen Power. In your head, that works, but the issue with that is Clifton and Samuelson have been used so drastically in defensive deployment with defensive matchup responsibilities by Ruff. That's not a good situation to put Byram into. So that really doesn't work. You can't put Yoki Haru Power because you've seen that definitely not work. I don't know. I don't know what the answer. I don't know how to make it work. I really don't. Maybe you put Clifton and Yoki Haru together and hope that works well, but then you have lefty, 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 righty, righty, which Ruff has said he doesn't like that really. He doesn't like 2 of the same-handed players on the same pair, but I don't know. Because the easy fix to get Byram, I think, to where he needs to be is to put him with Dahlin. I think that worked. That worked for points of last year. But I don't know how you get there. Maybe you just do it and you put Yoki Haru somewhere and hope it's not that bad and you can survive it. It's a tough spot. And really it's frustrating that it's something that 3 months ago we pointed to being a problem, and we're 11 games in, and here it is. Like you kind of hope that it wouldn't be. And I don't mean, and I don't think the defense, for what it's worth, the pairs are playing that poorly. I don't think Byram is as bad as he's being made out to be. The numbers indicate that he is. I truly don't. We're getting to a point now where like it's okay, man. Like it's high XG against high XG against high XG against every single game. Like I can't keep going in the case of Byram. But it's it's again, it didn't work last year. It worked for parts of this year early on, the Byram and Power thing, but I think there's too many similarities there. I think there's two guys that struggle with the same exact things with their defensive zone coverage, and they both need to touch the puck. And when Byram's not getting the puck, he's not nearly as effective. He can be a guy that you can play off of in your offensive zone system, maybe to create more, to get down to the play more, to get pucks to the middle of the ice more. Um, where he's more playing off of Power in that scenario, where Power was kind of the leader. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you put him with Darlene, it'd be the same situation. But I don't know. It at least worked for a chunk of time, and I think putting mainly any guy with Darlene can make it work. Um, so that's a possibility of how to fix that. I don't know. 11 games. 4-6-1. Not where you want them to be. That's for sure. I'm still in a spot where I'm not going to be overly negative. I don't think they're in like quote unquote a lot of trouble by any means. I think there's concerns that if they're not corrected, is going to lead for more difficult times ahead. I mean, and I didn't even touch on the goaltending. I mean, they'll say that for their day, but that's just simply from both goaltenders hasn't been good enough. I'm not going to say tonight is on Levi because it's not, but there's still seems like once or twice a game, and I'm like, man, save there would have been nice. And I get it. He's making save. They're both making saves, and other times bigger saves. But then there's the 1 or 2 goals a game. Where you're just like, maybe a save there, and it can be frustrating. The defense really isn't that bad, which is the crazy part. Like if you look at their expected goals against, they're going to be pretty low probably, especially after tonight. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're ninth. They're ninth in expected goals against in the league after tonight in natural statistics data. Top 10 defensively. And they are just giving up. Where do they sit? You're the bottom of the league, it looks like. In goals against. Yeah, the 23rd at 5-on-5 in goals against per 60. It's not going to work. On ice save percentage at 5-on-5 is 20th. You got to get better there. And I'm not expecting, top goaltender in the league tandem, but it's got to be better. It's got to at least be league average for the team to have a chance. If your goaltenders, if Luukkonen is going to regress below league average at least, and Levi is still going to have his inconsistencies, like, man, I don't care if you figure out how to fix the offense. It's gonna hurt you. It is gonna hurt you most nights. So I don't know. I still see things that I think can work on this team, but we're getting to a point where, like I said in the beginning, the numbers are starting to tell a story of what this team really is. And right now, this is a team, 5-on-5 that realistically plays low event hockey, cannot generate offense consistently at 5-on-5, has a bad power play, and they don't have goaltending that can bail them out. And that's the way it is, and that is becoming who they are. There's still time to change that, but that's the team they are right now. And every game that ticks by where it's the same thing, it becomes a they are who we thought they were kind of thing. So again, keep some positivity. Get 2 points tomorrow. Reset yourself. Schedule is not that difficult over the next stretch here. Get back in the swing of things. Put a few more points on the board. Improve upon some things, hopefully, and then, you're on your way again. All right. It's Friday night. Actually, Saturday morning now. 20 minutes here, so I'm going to go to something else now. Maybe have a drink and then go to sleep because I am tired. Got some long nights this week. So thanks for listening. Back at it tomorrow, and we will talk to you later. See ya.